I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be talking women right out of liking you and sleeping with you. Well, back many years ago, when I used to really struggle in this area of my life, and I'd meet women that I really wanted to go out with, and I might get 1 date or 2 dates because the girl really liked me, really dug me as soon as we met. But the problem was because I didn't know how to handle myself on the phone. I didn't know the types of things I should and shouldn't be talking about when I was actually on a date or meeting her out for drinks. I would say and do things that would literally talk women right out of sleeping with me. And the thing that I didn't realize then was when I was interacting with women I really didn't care about, I didn't realize there was a real huge difference between the way I interact with women I really wasn't that into versus women who I really liked. And the problem is I would just literally, because I was so needy, I was so insecure, because deep down I believed I didn't deserve a really super hot girl. And since I was basically coming from a place of lack and scarcity and fear and doubt about myself, it colored everything that I did and said and how I interact with her, because deep down I always was thinking, well, it's just a matter of time before she finds out what I'm really like and she blows me off, because at that point in my life, that had pretty much been my experience when I was dating women that I was really into, and it was incredibly frustrating for me, and I just did not simply realize what I was doing. And like I talk about a lot in my videos, is women are just as interested in sex as us guys are. The problem is that most men don't know how to interact with women in a way that creates attraction. They don't know how to, because they're always worried about what they're going to say, or they're trying to use some inauthentic pickup line, or they're dancing around in circles, as opposed to just coming right out, either asking a girl for a number or just saying, hey, I want you. You're amazing. Why don't we get out of here and go grab a drink someplace where we can be alone? Because you look in her eyes, you know she's thinking the same thing you are, and she's out. Maybe she's at a party, or she's at a social event, or maybe you're out downtown on a weekend, and if she's feeling the same thing you are, and there's a connection there, but most guys then start talking, they want to start buying drinks, they would start getting phone numbers, and then they want to sit there and start talking about all their problems, all the things that need to go right in their life. And so the girls sit there just wanting to hang out and have a good time and maybe hopefully hook up and get laid. And this guy's talking about other things, completely clueless. And then he's, hey, I got the number, and he continues to sit there and talk to her all night long. And then he leaves, gives her a hug when he leaves. And then he takes off, and meanwhile she ends up going home with some other dude. And when he calls her a couple days later, he doesn't realize, because he stood there and he bought her drinks all night and he said a bunch of things that made him look weak, that made him look insecure. Maybe he sat there and talked about himself and all of his accomplishments and how great he was the whole time. And he was lame and he was boring. And so when he calls her for the date, he was absolutely sure that she was into him. She never answers his phone call. Or he gets her on the phone, and she said he makes a kind of a tentative date, but doesn't really nail anything down because he's afraid to be firm with her. And so she says, well, yeah, give me a call Friday, and let's just nail things down. And so he's telling all of his buddies about the date he's got at the end of the week, and then he calls her on Friday, or he sends her a text, and she completely ignores him, and he scratches his head going, what the hell? And so then he starts blowing up her phone on Friday, and on Saturday, on Sunday, and then maybe some point in the middle of the week, the following week, he gets pissed off and sends her a nasty text saying, what's the deal? Why would you give me your phone number if you weren't even interested in me? And the guy didn't realize, because he hung around and he continued to talk, and he wasn't aware of the types of things that women like to hear out of your mouth when you're meeting them for the first time, and the types of things that turn them off and make and reveal that you don't have any clue and you're not very successful with women. You blow it. And I got a short email here from a guy who is kind of struggling with that. It's just he needs to clean up his act on Facebook and how he texts and how he interacts with women, because the higher a woman's level of attraction for you is initially, like say if it's like 70-80%, meaning she looks at you and she really digs you, there's quite a few things you can fuck up and do wrong when you interact with her before she gets to the point where she goes, oh, you just totally turn her off and she wants nothing to do with you. But if her interest is like, say, 50 to 60%, where you're like kind of just barely hanging on, she looks at you and she just says, he's kind of cute. Yeah, I guess I'd go out with him. I mean, you got a chance to raise it over time with that particular woman, but when her interest is real low to start out with, I mean, just a simple thing like making a definite date, whereas she's not really into making a date with you, and so she's kind of not really sure whether she wants to keep it or not, and that's why she says to call her on Friday or call before you come to pick her up kind of crap, or call before you meet her at the place where you guys scheduled to meet. And then so what happens is the date just ends up going nowhere. And so I've got this email here, and he says, "Hey Corey, I've been talking to this one particular girl for a little while now. I will admit I probably pursued her a little too hard and asked her to do things too often." And see right there, that tells me that you're chasing a girl, and you've asked her multiple times, and you're pursuing her, and you're getting nowhere with her, but you just completely ignore the fact. And plus on top of that, you talked to her for a long time before you probably ever got around to asking her out. Because when you meet a woman, they want a guy that will get right to the point, where when there's a connection there, a date's made, or he gets his phone number, and then he goes on about his evening. Or he sits down and has a great time with her and then ends up going home with her. It totally depends on what you want and what your goals and your outcomes are. But I can tell you're talking to this girl right out of liking you and sleeping with you because you tell her your whole life story. And women like guys that are mysterious, guys that they can't figure out. It's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. She would typically make some bogus excuse. I now know not to keep asking her to do things with me. I mean, I personally would have flushed the number down the toilet by now, or deleted it, I should say, from my smartphone. The reason I kept asking her to do things is because she told me she was interested in me and that she wanted a boyfriend. Yeah, well, it doesn't mean that she wanted you as a boyfriend. It just means that she wants a boyfriend. And see, because you're only looking at your own feelings and your own level of attraction and completely ignoring and not trying to read how she feels about you, you're just assuming she feels the same way. He says, we've hung out a few times and had a pretty good time. She has since brought up my ex-girlfriend. She asked me questions about her that she heard from her friends or my friends. My ex did beauty pageants and had fake boobs. So in her opinion, she thinks I only like those kind of girls. Although this girl has no reason to be jealous. She's told me that she feels inferior to me, I guess because of my ex or who knows what. All women are insecure, and women that tend to be younger and don't have as high a self-esteem as maybe women that have confidence or are a little bit older will say things like that. And it communicates that she's vulnerable. There was obviously some that she liked you or she enjoyed talking with you or had some kind of connection for you. He says, when she kept blowing me off for dates, I expressed to her that I wasn't interested if she kept doing that. Well, the fact that you kept calling a girl back when she breaks dates with you, because it's like when a girl breaks a date and she's got no good excuse for it, then you should not call her back to ask her out again. And see, you're ignoring that. And see, what this communicates to her is that she can pretty much do anything to you. She can jerk you around. She can decide whether or not to meet you out and then cancel on you at the last minute. It doesn't fucking matter because you'll still put up with it. And so in her mind, she figures, hey, I'll keep this guy in the background because it's always nice to have other options around while she tries to pursue and find somebody that she really wants to be with. She then responded, I'm just like every other guy and that I didn't want to date her in the first place, even though I've told her I wanted to. And I would never tell a chick that I wanted to date her. I mean, women look at first dates as just, hey, let's just go out and see what happens. That's their attitude. And so when you go out on a date, it's you're going out or you're basically communicating this girl's she's already made it in your book. She already qualifies, but she's qualifying you and you're constantly screwing up. And so when you give your interest away like that, it basically becomes worth nothing, and therefore she treats you like it's nothing. She's only had one real boyfriend and had a bad experience. My question is she really just insecure about herself or hesitant about dating again? Or is it something that I have done to make her uninterested and she's just making excuses to get rid of me? I'd say it's a little bit of both. She makes excuses, she's not really that into you, but you keep calling and you keep putting up with it because, I mean, there's women that'll go out with you and they got nothing better to do because they figure, hey, I'll go out and have some fun. Maybe I'll meet somebody else while I'm out with them. Maybe I'll meet one of his friends. I mean, chicks think like that. And if you're willing to put up getting walked all over like this girl's doing to you, then she figures, hey, you deserve what you get. I have now backed off on texting her as much and let her text first. We used to text all the time, Now I hardly text, and when I do, I usually wait for a while. Today I haven't texted her today, and neither has she. Another thing I want to say, there's only one reason you should be texting her, and that's either you're responding to one of her texts to set up a date, or you're initiating a text no more than once a week to set a date. This is probably the first day we haven't texted in a few months. What are your thoughts? And with this girl who's broken all the dates, I wouldn't text her at all ever again, because she's jerking you around. And so when she does reach out to you, the only thing you should do is try to arrange a date where you guys can meet up for some drinks at a cool place. You don't have to spend a ton of money on her, and just have a good time, and make definite plans. If you're not willing to make definite plans, if she gives you this, oh, well, just call me before you come, or call to confirm stuff, just say, hey, I'm really jammed up, I'm really busy. If you can't make definite plans, or your schedule's too up in the air, then let's just do it some other time. And then do the takeaway. And when you say that to a woman, when you say let's just do it some other time, and you wait for her to respond, if she really wants to see you, she'll go, no, I definitely want to see you. And she'll either keep that date, or she'll give you a day to reschedule on a particular day. But since most guys never wait for the woman to respond, because when she says, oh, I can't make it, then he's already off for another days to do it in its place, as opposed to waiting for her to offer it. Because if she really wants to go, she'll offer up another day. And if she doesn't, she'll just go, okay, which will communicate she's really not that into it. And so my advice to you is to get busy rereading my book. I don't know if you've read it yet, but you can download the Amazon Kindle version of my book by going to my website, and underneath the email sign-up box is going to be a link that will take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page. If you've got a question you want to ask me, or a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen, and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, your situation, or your challenges. And you just got to give me several days to get back to you with a response, because I get a lot of email from the internet, and I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers. But be patient, and I will get back to you. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which is going to be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.